on my way to my friend's. I promised I would come, so I'm leaving a little later than I expected. I'm not too happy because I wanted to leave straight at 4 o'clock and be there already. But now I got a whole been driving for about maybe 10, 15 minutes. Now I got another 45 minutes to go. And that's if we don't have traffic. Things have just been so busy. Before I get to that though, it's just, I'm all over the place. I was at work at my work clothes. I got out of them and changed because, I want to, look decent for her birthday. And I just kind of pushed my hair back, and everything. I'm just not happy with today. It was crazy today. Very difficult day. Dealt with a lot of hard cases, difficult cases, like the patient cases and all, and just so much going on, and I just don't like to leave my job until I know that everybody's okay, because I can't sleep at night if I know I leave somebody hanging. But what I'm mad about, that's not what I'm pissed off about. I'm not pissed about going over the edge of these nursing homes. Like you guys, I said, this is the 4th time we're gonna have to reschedule this patient. I said, first time is because you guys weren't doing the tests that were required. You weren't doing the urine cultures. I bug these people every week. Did you do it? Yeah. Then you ask them, did you do it? Oh no, we didn't do it. I said, I thought you guys said yes. Oh, we were going to do it. Then it's just all this commotion. So today, right, we're talking about the 3rd time. So I called because I don't see a urine culture on file. I don't see the medical clearance on file. I don't see lab work done. I called the nursing home up. I said, so where's all this testing at? He has a procedure tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Can you fax it, please? Yeah. Did he do a urine culture? I don't know if he did. Yeah. I spoke with the guy over there. I said, did he do it? And he said, I don't know. Let me transfer you. And he transferred me over. So get transferred to the same guy I talked to, and he tries to turn it around and make it seem like I never told him that the guy was scheduled for a procedure. And I said, we spoke on this day. He told me you were doing his lab cultures 2 weeks before his procedure. I called you and told you he's scheduled, and that you can move his dialysis treatment around, and then do his urine cultures. I mean, you obviously knew he had a test because you rushed to get urine cultures done and you rushed to do his blood work. And I got his medical clearance through his other doctor, right? I said, but I don't have a hard copy because I was told that the doctor went over there to your facility. Oh, there's nothing on file. I didn't know. He has I have no idea what's going on. He was freaking out. I'm like, sir, we talked about this. And then he sent an email, and he was like, if he's going to have this procedure tomorrow, you guys need to fax over the hard copy from the doctor over there. And I guess his partner from another location sends over the clearance. Now I see he faxed me over the labs, and the lab shows urine specimen not collected, right? I started freaking out. What is going on? I called I got real angry. I called the office again. I said, what is going on? Where is the urine cultures? You told me you did it. So they were like, we don't have anything else. I said, there has to be something there. I pestered them for almost 10, 15 minutes. And then I heard everyone fighting and arguing in the background over there. And I'm like, what is going on? So then found out they overlooked the second urine culture they did, right? Because they had to do another one. They didn't see it. No one saw it. It was misplaced. They sent it over to me. Guess what? The guy has a UTI. I said, are you serious? I said, the doctor, I said, this is horrible. He has a UTI. And they never told us. He says, find out if they treated him for this. I called them back. I said, did you guys treat this patient for a UTI? They said, I don't know. I don't see anything in chart. I said, can you please look? I said, because you guys are, you guys are not seeing things. There's a lot of discombobulation going on. So then they looked at his chart again. They said, I don't see that no one documented that this guy was treated. I said, so how do you guys see a test result and don't test you don't treat no one? Oh, we didn't see it. I said, I don't know. I said, this is crazy. I said, this patient's now going to have to get canceled because if he gets operated on, it will be a risk of infection. And, I'm thinking to myself, we're wasting all this time, but we really didn't, because if I didn't pester them like that, no one would have known he had a UTI there. And he could have ended up with a bad infection and sepsis. And rehab homes are known for that. They're really bad. You know, this is saying that you put people in rehab homes, try to avoid it because they do not treat people well in there. They really don't. It's a known fact. Like it's like you have to really, really be on their ass. I was not too happy at all. That really pissed me off. And I stayed later because I was going to leave at 4, but I said, I'm not going to leave my patient in the dark like that. I want to know what's going on. Did you guys treat him or not? I said, this is 4th time having to cancel because you guys are screwing up over there. And it was just, and, you know, she's like, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. There's all these new nurses here. And, you know, everyone's pointing the finger. I'm like, this is crazy. So I'm going to do everything in my willpower when I get back tomorrow to get him back on and get him back on a schedule fast and soon, because I feel like this is not right. You know, you gotta, you know, I wouldn't want someone doing that to me and treating me like that and putting me in a situation where I have a UTI infection and I go unnoticed and I get sepsis and then I end up dead. It's like, I saw something like that where somebody had a UTI and they were starting to have bad symptoms and the infection spread all to their kidneys and they ended up with sepsis and died in the hospital at 50-something years old. And that's how bad it is, how dangerous this type of stuff is. So it was really pissed me off. You know, like you guys are just being careless. Oh, I don't see nothing. Well, search deeper. Did they do it or not? Yeah, I don't see nothing documented. I don't see nothing. I said, well, you know what? I said, I'm going to find out, you know, from the manager. I ended up emailing them before I got dressed up and left because I was not too happy. I was pissed. And the doctor says they're known to do those things. And I've seen it for myself, you know, how these rehab homes are. They say you go in rehab homes, you end up dead quicker than what you're supposed to be. I know what I've mentioned when my mom was in rehab back when she had her situation. She ended up in kidney failure and she had all those attacks happening to her in the hospital. And she was in a wheelchair for a long time, for a while. And she was in the rehab home. I had to come up there almost every day. It was either me or my father or one of my sister maybe once a week, because we didn't trust nobody. Because every time you came there, it's, oh, they left me in my diapers for these many times. They were supposed to do a stool sample on my mom. I remember this. Came up to the rehab home. First thing, she was in her diapers for hours. As soon as I came in there, here they come running to the door, knocking on the door. Hi, how you doing, Miss Sess? I won't say my mom's last name. Hi, Miss Sess, how you doing? Yes, let me go change the diaper. Now all of a sudden, you acting like you're doing your job every 30 minutes. But you don't realize I just looked inside the bathroom and saw there's a stool sample that's been sitting there for 4 hours to test for C. diff. So I got pissed off. I picked up and said, how long has this been sitting on here? My mom says, oh, it's been there for like hours, like 4 hours. I ran out that hallway. I said, you guys need to process this. It's been sitting in here. I said, she's having diarrhea and all this stuff. I said, you guys have to test this. And they were looking all annoyed and stuff. You know, like, what are you getting annoyed about? You're supposed to be taking care of these patients. You know, there was another situation where the lady was calling for help across the hallway. And they're like, help, help. And no one, and there was people literally walking past by her, like ignoring her. And it's like, and there's eventually they see you staring at them like, what are you doing? Are you treating my family member like this? And they're like, oh, hi, how you doing? Everything all right? You know? That's crazy. Or better yet, the second rehab home my mom went in, because she got transferred out of the first one because they were horrible. Because my mom told me when she was in there, she said her experience, like hearing what goes on in there, people die left and right up in there. And she's like, they just be dying. Like 2-3 people die already within a month. And she's like, you know, you just hear a lot of people die. And she really believes it's because of a lot of neglect. And I believe it. You know, like you sit there with things like that, urine culture sample, ignore it. It's positive. I don't care to treat it. Oh, well, I don't see nothing in the documentation. Don't you guys check your orders? So, I mean, that's dangerous. You know, I remember in that second rehab home, it was nice. But, and the reason why my mom ended up in that second rehab was because the first rehab home, my father and my whole family was about to go off on one of the rude assistants there, because my mom was getting dialysis done, and they're supposed to make sure everyone has dinner. Thankfully, we took care of our mom when she was at rehab home. We visited all the time, made sure they were doing what they're supposed to do. So I went up there with my father and my sister and my nephews. This is before, like, you know, she started getting better, went on we had that surgery for the transplant. she's coming back. They said the kitchen is closed, right? Because she came back late. And they were like, oh, kitchen closed. It's kitchen what? And my father went off on somebody, and then my sister's like, I know nobody's about to treat mama, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's in the hallway yelling and da-da-da-da. The Brooklyn side came out of everybody in that hallway. Someone's about to get beat up. And then we weren't the only family that got mad. There was another family that came up there. I was walking out. I visited my mom, and there was a family coming in upstairs. I'm about to whip her ass, mama. And they was coming up, and they were going to go beat up a nurse back there. And they had to stop them. And I don't know what the situation was, but I'm like, when you treat people nasty and you putting your people's family members at risk, you asking for trouble from people, and you're gonna have a nasty attitude. And I'm glad we were there to see that when they try to say kitchen closed. It's nothing, she just can't have dinner. No, my mom's gonna eat tonight. You better figure something out. So the manager of the place, we told her what they said, and that they said, no, kitchen closed and there ain't gonna be no food. And she says, don't worry, we're gonna find a way to feed her, we promise. And she saw how we got, and we're very nice people, but she wasn't used to seeing us like the other side of us where we're angry and we snap. So she's like, I know this is not your character, So she's like, I know that these people must have done something really wrong or said something wrong to piss you off. So that was the end of it. My father was like, nope, she's not staying in this rehab home. After that, we're going to transfer her. So we transferred her to another rehab, and they weren't always on top of things there too, but they were a little bit more nicer, I think. And you got your own bedroom, which was nice. So my mom felt a little more comfortable there. And of course, the rehab home that we did leave, that was with the root people that was doing all that stuff, there was an old lady there, I'll never forget. And they would mistreat her. Now, she was Muslim, right? And needless to say, I don't care what you think. I mean, even if you feel like, oh, she's in a false religion. Yes, Muslims, they don't believe in the truth. And, I'm not a Muslim, I'm a child of God, a Christian. But I would no way mistreat an unbeliever or somebody who's in a different religion, or try to go against what goes against their conscience. Because see, the Bible talks about that. So where I'm getting at is, she don't eat pork, right? She's a Muslim, and she doesn't eat pork. You have to respect that. She tells you, those are her boundaries. She says, I don't eat pork. You don't sit there and throw pork on her plate. So every day she would cry. My mom said that she would sit there and they would come in the room knowing she doesn't want pork and disrespecting what goes against her beliefs, right? And her conscience and her faith. So they go over there, they put bacon on there on purpose, knowing that bothers her mentally and emotionally. She starts crying. She's like, I told him not to do this. And she's an old woman, like in her 70s or 80s somewhere, because she definitely looked very old. No, none of her kids visited her. I felt so bad for her. So sometimes when we came over, we used to be very nice and talk to her. And she says, they keep putting this bacon. I told them I'm Muslim, I don't eat this. And they kept doing it. They said, oh, well, that's what we have for this morning for breakfast. It was so rude. Now, I'm glad I wasn't there to witness that, but my mom was able to witness that and tell me that. But what I was there to witness was the mistreatment of how they sat there and neglected her. Because when I came in there, my mom, still in a wheelchair at that time, but she was talking more. And I was talking to my mom, and I overheard the nurse. She came in the room. Now, I'm there, so she's going to be nice to my mom. Because you start doing some foolishness around my family members, we're going to have a problem. So I heard her mistreating the lady next to my mom in the shared room. This is the first rehab that we left, just so people know. But she was like, I need my vitamins for my eyes. Do you think you can get in the drawer for me, please? It's right there. It's not there. It's not. There's no vitamins. I just need you to look for me, please. And she went like this. She literally, I looked over and I saw her just open the drawer real quick. It's not there. I said, what is going on, right? I looked everywhere, ma'am. There's nothing here. There's nothing. Yeah. So, there's no drops. And she walks out the room. And my mom says, Candace, can you go there and help her look for her drops, please? I said, okay. I go and look around. I said, okay. She said, oh. And she's sitting there, looked like she's about to cry. I'm looking around the place. I said, let me help you find drops. And I looked around for it, found her drops. The lady just opened the door, doesn't check it. She doesn't look for stuff. She says, it's not there. It's not there. And I'm like, wow. So I said, I found your drops. They're in here. I said, thank you so much. These people are, oh, they're not nice. And I believe her. I heard how they were talking to her. That's not there. And then try to be neglectful. So, you know, when she came back in the room, saw me sitting there looking at her, she was all of a sudden like, hi. You know, because you should be ashamed of yourself sitting there treating people like that, especially the elderly. You know what bothers me is that people don't ever think to say, what if that was my grandmother, my mother, or even me in the hospital or in a rehab home? Would you want to be treated like that? Someone tells you, I'm diabetic, I can't have this because, you know, I got to eat a certain diet. And they throw something on your plate and say, whatever, I don't care. Disregard your feelings, what you believe, or disregard your health. That's upsetting. See, people don't care until it's them in the hospital, until it's their family member, until it's their daughter or son or anybody or grandmother. Then all of a sudden it's a problem. Now you want people to care about you. And so I saw that and I already knew. I said, yeah. Don't trust rehab homes at all. So that's why I get very hardcore, like when I deal with these places, like, you know, I know they're upset and they are annoyed with me, and I do not care. They're like, oh, this girl keeps going. I don't care. Because sometimes you can hear them in the background and, you know, you get it sucking their teeth. I do not care. When it comes to patients, treat people how you want to be treated. You know, don't sit there and treat people like they're nothing, but you expect people to treat you with priority. No, it doesn't work like that. You'd be very upset that was you with a UTI for a long time and you're not being treated. And now you're getting infections and get sepsis and end up on your deathbed. So I'd be damned if they sit here and think that they're going to shut me down or got something to say. Because I'm going to say, no, I will continue to do what I do. I'll continue to sit back and pester you every day for results and pester you about the things you're doing. I question. I said, so you guys mean to tell me you guys got urine cultures that are positive? You don't go and treat people. And they're just sitting there, I don't know what's going on. Hold on one second. And they're getting annoyed. I'm not getting off the phone just because you tell me you don't see nothing. I want you to double check. That's just, I don't know. So I was not happy at all. So I think tomorrow, if they don't end up treating him, then the doctor says he'll go and send something over. I'm just like, this is crazy. And what's sad is a lot of people always say, oh, if you don't have children, right? They'll say, oh, if you don't have children, you're going to end up in a nursing home. You're going to be lonely. Well, guess what? Explain that to all the people that are in a nursing home that have children and their children refuse to watch them and help them out and do things. Or they're just so busy with their lives and it's getting difficult to take care of their parent. So that just comes to show you how false that is when people say that. I was told when I went to go get my levels checked back about 2 weeks ago, because I mentioned about me having one kidney, so I always have to have my levels checked. The woman that took my blood mentioned to me that there was someone, a cousin of hers, that was, I guess, in a rehab, and I forgot what happened to him. And the one sister, or I guess one of the family members, came over to visit that person. But the other cousin, he's married, has a wife, right? And he's like, they say, well, are you going to come visit? Are you going to spend time, see how he's doing? I mean, it's not far from you. Oh, I got things to do. I got a wife. I got a little family to take care of. I got things to do. He couldn't even take the time to speak to him on the phone. Couldn't take the time to say, let me come out. And you know why he said it? Because his wife talked him out of seeing his family member in the hospital. So she said to me while she was doing my blood, I'm going to have to exchange of words with this cousin here. And I said, I'm sorry about that, because she knew I was a donor. She says, that is a very great thing you did. And she was like, right now I have someone in rehab, and I think that person that's in the rehab has an organ issue going on. And that cousin of theirs is just more like, I don't care. I got my wife. I got this and that, whatever, I can't. I got my wife. She comes first. And the wife is telling I remember now. Yes, it was the mother. The mother's the one. It wasn't a father. It was the mother that was inside of the rehab home, and it was her son, and she is cousins with him. And I remember now. So, the mother's son is married to, he's married with his own family, and the wife is telling her husband not to see his mother while she's in the hospital, and that's why she's said that she's gonna have an exchange of words with him. I remember now, and I was just shaking my head like, wow. I said, I would never tell my husband to sit back and have his mother in a rehab home while her organ is failing or she's sick, and then tell him, don't see your mom. You got us to worry about. That is selfish. I'm sorry. That's not a good wife. Oh, well, then go see her. Da 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 da. I said, I'd be ashamed of myself. If my husband ever told me don't see my mom when she was in the hospital, I'd slap the hell out of him. It's like, don't tell me. I said, you don't need to tell me that again. Say, what did you say? Oh, well, I'm your husband now. You would have gotten so badly slapped up telling me not to go see my mom who's in the hospital and needs me and needs to talk to me. That is not honoring your parents. But there are people like that out there. They don't care. Depends on the person's personality. Some kids care and some kids don't. It's not a guarantee that if you have children, they will care about you and be there for you like you were for them. But I'm like, when she said that, that had me fueled because I'm like, my mom was in a rehab and I saw like all the pain she had to go through and just everything, every last thing that happened to her over the past couple of years. And I'd be damned if my husband or anybody tells me, oh, don't go over there, or well, I come first, or whatever. Dare a man to tell me something like that, I'll take my hand or run with the ring and go, BAM! You selfish prick. We may be separated after that because I don't believe in divorce unless someone cheats. And so, I would be so pissed. I don't want to hear that. That's beyond, like, to me, I think that is evil. That's just me. I think that's evil to do that to your family, to your mother or father, to not honor them, to sit back and do something like that and say, oh, well, I got family, I got my wife. And your wife is telling you, well, you got us to worry about, so, da-da-da. Oh, hell no. Oh, no. And you got some foolish people out there to tell you, well, your wife and husband comes first, and you need to be standing by your husband. No, that's not what it's talking about. Don't go there, because they'll try to twist things in the Bible and take it out of context. The Bible never said disrespect your parents for your wife or husband. They'll take a scripture like in the beginning of Genesis where it says that a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, right? God is not necessarily saying, okay, you leave your mother and father and disrespect them for your wife. That's not what he said. He said to honor thy mother and father. You're not supposed to disrespect your parents no matter who you're married to. That's not honoring your mother and father when you're acting like that. And the Bible never said to sin and to be encouraged to do evil by your spouse. Stick by them when they're telling you to do the wrong things. It never told you to do that. If your husband and spouse sat there and told you worship Satan, will you do it? Hell no. Especially if you're a believer. You're gonna say, "Oh no, I'm not. Oh no, we're done." Same thing with anything else. Your wife tells you, "Hey, I want to have a threesome." Are you going to cleave to her then? Well, it's mutual. If your wife tells you, let's watch pornography, and you're a child of God or a Christian, and you believe the word of God, are you going to cleave to her then and watch pornography with her, knowing it's wrong? If you feel like you're supposed to cleave to her, no. When you cleave, that means to stand by her side, not necessarily stand with her against other people. Doesn't mean stand with her in the sense of her wrongdoings or when she's asking you to do wrong and evil to people. And a lot of times people love to take things out of context to fit their own narrative or agenda. Same thing about like certain men that use religion and they try to twist the word of God and try to make it seem like women are supposed to be subservient and obedient in their precepts, the precepts of men, their version of what obedience and submission is. And if all it means to be submissive, all it means is to be honoring, respectful. It doesn't mean to sit there and have your head bowed and fair to your husband. You're not a fair man. Or to be sitting here and doing anything he asks you to do and you're supposed to do it. We're in a bedroom and I want a certain sex act performed. Better do it now. That's not biblical. See, that's mankind's and precepts of men because they got perversion in their hearts. And what they'll do to manipulate people to make them feel they're doing something wrong is by saying, hey, you didn't do what your husband told you to do. If your husband wants sex every night, you're supposed to give it to him every night. That's not biblical. That's nowhere in the Bible says I have to have sex with my husband every night. That's feeding into lust now. And nowhere does it say that. Well, you're sinning, or you're not doing what you're supposed to do because you're not giving your man what he wants every night. No. We didn't agree to it. It's supposed to be reciprocal. The marriage is not to give everything a man wants. Marriage is supposed to be reciprocal. It's what you agreed upon. And if one is not agreeing to something, then no, it's not equal. If you're forcing someone to do something, that's not love and it's not equal. So, it's just my example of stating like how some people will take things out of context and justify certain things, wrongdoings. And that's just one of them. But and she told me that story, going back to that lady, like, I don't know about the rehab. So when I do rehab homes and I see things like that, I start getting very angry. Like, come on, it shouldn't take 4 cancellations for you to get it right, Let this guy go. Well, when I see my friend's daughter, I'll be in a better mood. And I'll probably be like, I'll probably be telling them my day was crazy, but now I'm happy to be here to celebrate her 20th birthday. I can't believe she is an adult. I told my parents earlier what age she was, and they were like, what? No way. I said, yeah, she's a grown woman. Remember when she was a baby in my arms. Yeah. And I bought her a whole bunch of stuff, so I can't wait to see her excitement when she opens it up. And time's 5:59. Probably won't be there until 6:30 because all this traffic. But yeah, time goes by so fast. I've been very, very busy lately, just trying to just be on the go a lot, so much going on at once. So many changes, really. And I just feel like I just had no time to really process the summer. I mean, it's going to be September next. Yeah. Next week is supposed to be September, and it's like just going by like that. You just don't have time to process anything anymore, especially when you're so busy. I haven't gone to the beach. I haven't gone swimming in a pool. I haven't done anything really. I mean, there's only a few things I did because it's just been so busy. I mean, I went to New York to visit my grandma, and that was fun. But other than that, I haven't really gotten a chance to do a lot. It's just been too much on my plate, too much going on, So maybe next year. But good thing summer is not my most favorite season. My favorite season is the one that's coming up, fall, which I want to show my decorations I'm going to be putting up. Definitely. Oh wait, I gotta go back one. This is 32. I thought I said 30. But one more exit. Yep, I bought some new decorations, which I'll probably show what I bought. And pretty nice. It's not a lot, but it's a few things in addition. And I thought of something different this year. This year I want to decorate both my room and I want to decorate my living room and kitchen. I just want it to be the fall season spirit. Like, I love fall. It's my favorite season. That's the season I'm born in. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get in the season. So this fall, I really want to feel the season, It's my favorite season and I want to be in the season. That means like I really want to do a lot of fall activities, Definitely do a lot of different stuff. And actually be able to process the time of fall, because like things are going by so fast. Like I just feel like I can't find the time to process things here, I just hope that, even though it gets busy around that time of the year, I just hope that, at least once throughout the week, the weekends, I would be able to do some day trips. I do want to take maybe a vacation in the fall, like 1 week off, because I love taking vacations around that time. And hotels in general are very, they're very cheap. They're not as expensive as they are in the summertime. So that's another thing, you get good out of it. And you don't need the beach, you just need the scenery. If you see a beach water, let's say you go to the beach in October, and you see the scenery. That's what I like. I could just go downstairs and go swim in the pool, in a warm-up pool. Go in the jacuzzi and then sit on the balcony and see the waves coming up. And that's what I like, around that time of the year. And it's just decent prices. I gotta clean this car. I didn't even have time to clean out my car this whole week. It's just been so busy. Been running around a lot. So I hope tomorrow I can get around to doing the things that I have to do. I'm almost off my exit, and I can go to Dollar General. Yeah, that's all I have for today. That was my trigger for today. But now I'm almost close to my friend's house, about another 10-15 minute drive, but I'm probably going to get off of there before then because I'm going to go into the store and get a few things. I have to get a bottle of water, and then I'll be going straight there, and then she'll be seeing me. Hopefully they got some food there because I'm hungry. My tummy's starting to growl. And I've been having some trouble with that too. Oh man, I have not had a urge to go at all, number 2. No urges at all, like since Saturday morning. My stomach's just been off lately. I don't know if it's because of a combination of things like hormones and diet, like eating pasta stuff, stress, being overwhelmed, doing too much. All those things can contribute because, sometimes your hormones can do things to your intestines because, when people get pregnant, their intestines slow down for the sake of being able to take in nutrition. But there are other things that can do that to your intestines too. A lot of that could be resorted from stress and your hormone fluctuations, diet changes, like if you go off your diet a little bit, because I know I did last week. I had a lot of pasta. So I think a lot of those things contribute. So I'm like, I got to get back on to my regimen, what I was doing. I got to calm down. I got to get back on my schedule and get back on a regular sleep schedule too, because it's been a little off. Let me turn this song off here. I don't like the song. It sounds sad. Turn this off. So, let's see. Yeah, so I'm like, I hope to get back on my regimen because I don't like this unsurety of what's going on in my intestines. So I'm like, okay, hopefully it goes back to normal. I'm going to try to do a few natural laxatives with the prune juice and hot coffee that I do. So I figured that would help move everything through my digestive system. still. Like, oh, but I gotta eat. I'm hungry. So I'll just, if they have pizza, I'll probably have like 2 slices because I'm afraid of getting, constipated. So it's Saturday morning.
Yes, medical bills, I pay that. I love you, mama. See, I ain't on no lay down. Custody war, my lawyers stay down. She never got a chance to hear my side of the story. We was divided. She had fish cookouts for my child's birthday. I invited, despite it. I show her back when I fall through. All you, later when I call you.
Sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real. Make your daughter cry. I am for real. Never meant to make your daughter cry. Hopefully tomorrow work will be a little bit much more easier. Not so stressful, you know. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh. This is what I mean by I don't need drama in my life. I have enough of it. You know, if it ain't that, I'm yelling really bad for the insurance companies. They're the worst, you know. Yeah. Forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. My intentions were good. I wish I could become a magician to abracadabra all the Saturn. Thoughts of me, thoughts of she, thoughts of he. Asking what happened to the feeling that her and me had. I pray so much about it, need some knee pads. It happened for a reason, one can't be. I gotta stop by this store down there. But yeah, so yeah, I got all my yelling out. I'm tired. I'll probably leave my friend's daughter's friend's house because it's 6 now, probably like 10:30 tonight. I want to at least stay for like 4 hours. You know, I want to catch up with them, see how they're doing, and then I'm going to leave. I want to get to bed, and I want to start from now on getting back to sleeping early again because I just feel like me being off the sleep schedule has disrupted a lot of things, including my regular flow of things. You know, I feel like maybe go to bed on time, eat at a certain set time. I think, and try to relax, not do so much at once. I just think that I won't feel so overwhelmed, and then my stomach will actually start moving again. So I won't be so like stressed and top schedule off and everything like that. You know. So you know, I want to make sure that I get back on a regimen here. You know. It's been a very busy month. Oh God, it's got been up into my car. Yeah. I'm trying to get myself all cheered up. Get all that steam off of me, you know? I mean, they got me so angry I started laughing. I had tears dropping out of my eyes and I was just laughing and yelling at the same time. It was crazy. I was going nuts. Oh my gosh. Almost. Okay, the store's over there. I'm going to park in there and get off here. But I was just so angry that I just started busting out laughing and crying at the same time. I was just laughing. You ever laugh so hard that you have tears coming out of your eyes? That's how much I was laughing. I was so angry and I just started laughing. And the next hour I just started yelling at the same time. Oh my God. I mean, oh my gosh. I had my coworker cracking up. I was just like laughing at the same time, yelling at these people because they don't listen. I was like, what, how crazy does this have to be? And I just like started laughing. I always laugh hard when I think things are getting crazy and out of control. It's just like I just can't take it serious, you know? But I'm gonna get inside there real quick in the store. And I'm gonna get off of here. Leave to go to out of state this week. But take care, everybody, and goodbye.